to boil it down, simplify it, I really help busy professionals like both yourselves plan by design rather than by default.
Welcome back, Mortgage Daddies.
Here we go.
We got our boy here today, Sam Philbrook.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Happy Wednesday. Here we are.
We're here,
We got a powerhouse in here.
I know. We got a lot of matching outfits today.
A lot of matching outfits. Glad the conference call, we got in alignment with that.
It's like those videos where you see like all the girls and they all have like the exact same thing on and they're walking down the street. That's us right now.
In New Bedford. Here we are.
What would they think?
I mean, if you wear blue and gray any given day, you're probably going to match me because that's like 90% of my closet.
100% of my entire closet.
I have like one red shirt.
This is a new style for me. New style. I'm always in a suit.
I know.
Usually up
you're
front.
Casual today.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm casual. I was going to wear a suit today, and I said, if I'm going to be around greatness, got to kind of dress the part.
Yeah,
so
we don't wear too many
I got to
suits
dress
around
up,
here.
I guess, right? Yeah, we don't wear suits over here.
We
So
leave the suits for weddings and funerals for the most part. You have to.
You know, these muscles just don't move well.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
that one muscle.
that muscle. Yeah.
He wears this. We wear the suits to the gym.
Yeah.
And then we leave it there.
Yeah.
So
The buttons are screaming on your suits. Yeah, naturally.
Yeah, just playing this game of getting them bigger, making them smaller.
You can hear the seams
It's like
just
a little
stretching.
tight. They're like, I'm like, nah, it's fine. I'm gonna lose 10 pounds and just never gonna wear that suit now at this point.
spend $2,000 a year on a tailor
Oh my god.
just to keep making them bigger.
The suit, you're like, it shrank. I washed it. It shrank. I swear. It's like, no,
terrible
you're
quality.
just aging awfully.
Sam, tell us a little bit about what you do and
What I do?
where you are, where you're located for our fans watching. We have, what are we up to? About 7-8 million fans worldwide
There
watching
you go.
Mortgage Daddies.
Mortgage Daddies.
Absolutely.
First, like, where'd that come from? Where did that? I want to hear that story.
Well,
I mean, you know what? We've beat around this bush quite a bit. We had our daughters on and we kind of masked it that we are in the mortgage business and we were both daddies and we met through our kids.
Both,
But I think
both
that's-
daddies.
I mean, he is the original daddy. I'd like
Oh,
to
gee.
say this.
All right.
I might have made it up, but you know, and everyone comes in and Vern will tell them, yeah, you got to call him daddy. And they're like, I'm never doing that. Fast forward a couple weeks. when they need something, the daddy, please.
Watching the 6'2", 240-pound man walk into Craig's office and just be like, Daddy, I need help on this loan.
It does not get that weird.
It's
but-
comical. No, it's going today.
Yes.
I'm going to do this today. As soon as we work out, I'm like, you have to watch
Look at
this
that
office.
twisted steel over here. Look at that, full of it.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Where
I
did
don't
the
know.
mortgage
doing-
daddies
yeah,
come
so
from?
you're doing-
I know we came up with it.
I don't know. I've always
afterwards.
kind of like jokingly like called myself daddy for years. You know, me calling myself that, and it's kind of semi stuck. And then when we were looking for a name, you know, we're both dads, mortgages, try to tie it together, and we looked at a bunch of other names, but nothing. I felt like it was like funny enough, but not like ridiculously, you know, crazy.
Depending upon who you talk to, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, we get a
Oh,
lot
yeah,
of people that are like, that's the, but yet you're talking about it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it gets people talking because they're like, mortgage daddies, you know, there's that podcast like call me
Call Me
daddy
Daddy.
or whatever it is.
I think we
Don't
should
act
try
like
to
you
get
don't know that, by the way.
I don't know.
Don't act like you don't listen to
I
that,
didn't-
by the way.
He's got a
I actually
VIP
never-
subscription.
Alex Cooper, he just keeps sliding into the DMs. He's like, hey, I'm looking for some advice.
I've actually never listened to that podcast.
Really?
I'm a huge Joe Rogan fan. I listen to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Joe Rogan podcasts. And I pretty much live there. And then there's another mortgage podcast, a guy down in Florida, the Loan Officer podcast that I've been listening to for years. And those are pretty much the two that I bounce back and forth on. I don't really listen to any other ones. I used to listen to a lot more when I was still working in Abington on the fire department because you have that hour drive. I
Sure.
mean, you know, but now it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Sometimes I just like silence in the car.
Takes you a week to get through a half-hour episode.
Yeah, exactly. I did an audiobook not that long ago, and it was like a solid month of every time I got in the car because it was the only time I listened to it. But it wasn't bad. I'm not a big music person. I know Vern's a huge Post Malone fan.
Yeah.
Love Post Malone.
Big guy.
My
Big-
daughter today, I'm going to see Post Malone. My daughter this morning tells me, Dad, if you want to come home after I get out of school, I can have Mom, while I'm at school, go and buy some black invisible markers, and I can draw his tattoos onto your face. That's
Perfect.
literally
I would love
the
that.
conversation that came up this morning.
That's perfect.
Mortgage Daddies. That's exactly where the name came from. We have to deal with all of our kids. We all have kids here.
Yep.
That was probably one of the more wild things she
I would
Suggested.
I would not be surprised if she came home with a tattoo machine to literally try to tattoo it on your head. What exactly, do you do? So everybody kind of has an idea.
That's an interesting question, right? So to boil it down, simplify it, I really help busy professionals like both yourselves plan by design rather than by default. Most people, when it comes to financial planning and working with a financial planner, they're in the default mode of like, I'm pumping money into these different vehicles. I don't really know how they're invested. I have no idea what the market's doing. Couldn't tell you about inflation and really couldn't tell you if it's enough. But like fingers crossed, come age 60, like it's going to work out. Again, no idea of all those eroding factors that are going to happen.
Because you hit a couple
over time.
numbers in the chart and you get this.
Yeah, you get this like
projection.
linear projection, and it's like it's going to be fine. Or every year it's going to tell you to put more money in. So a lot of people, they're just on that pathway to default where my job, my team's job is to take people off the treadmill of life. We're busy. We talked about how busy we are with our 3 kids. We're probably bus drivers on the weekends, bringing all 3 kids to sports games or band practice like now. So we help people just like ourselves take them off the treadmill of life and help them plan by design, meaning meeting with them on an ongoing basis and making sure, hey, are you protected in the right areas? Are you saving money to the right vehicles? And are you invested correctly? And you'd be amazed on how many times we meet with people that we would deem are all set. Like, I got a guy, I'm all set. That person's massively successful. They're all set. When we sit down with the people that are typically the most all set, they're usually the furthest from being all set. Because everyone around them has assumed for the longest time, well, they're wealthy, they own a business. There's no way I could help them in any capacity. And when we sit down with them, it's all of these fine-tuned tweaks that we're able to make along the way that leads to them accumulating wealth better, sleeping better at night when it comes to making sure they're protected, or just having a clear strategy around how they're going to eventually exit their business. So pretty easy question and a pretty hard response, just because what we do is very customized to the person. You can go on a podcast, you can read articles on Google, and if you ever Google financial planning, you'll probably find that 1 billion articles populate. Half of them tell you to do one thing, and the other half will passionately and convincingly tell you to do the exact opposite. If you're like most people, you kind of scroll through some articles, you read the conflicting opinions, you go and bounce ideas off friends and family, you hear the contradicting advice. Most people just throw their hands up in the air and they say, you know what? I'm going to financially plan later. I don't really need to focus on that right now. Snap of the fingers, 20 years go by, and they're the ones sitting down with us going, wow, I'm wildly off course. I wish I met with you all 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's insane. I was lucky enough to partake in the Rally to Give that we have coming up again this year. It's really the first time I had some true one-on-one with Sam. Did not know about his tattoo on his back, so it wasn't that much of a good one-on-one. But when you sit in the car with anybody for, what was it? On and off for an entire 3 days.
3 days, yeah, 8 hours a day.
You get talking about stuff, and just the way that he talks about what he does for a living. It's not really what he does for a living, right? It's the lifestyle change that somebody would really have to make, and really. You broke it down where I understood, what the goals were. So many times, I have a great financial planner. It's actually, somebody that's very close to Sam, work in the same company. I've been with him for a long, long time. He explains a lot to me, but having a different perspective coming in from somebody of Sam's side, everybody, for me, I even thought it, I have plenty of life insurance. I'm putting away X number of dollars every month. I'm good. Leave me alone. Really sitting down with Sam and also talking to my financial planner, because they communicate all the time, you realize there's a lot of different vehicles that you're leaving out there with kids for college tuition, saving, not just for retirement. I feel like everybody thinks you put money into a 401k, I'm good. Are you really good? Like, are you going to retire on, I'm just making this up, $600,000, $1 million? Is that going to get you through from 65 to 85? Breaking down, just sitting in the car with you and talking about, or do you have these vehicles and how you go about, structuring those at different points and when somebody should start saving. Like now I'm putting away money for my kids in different IRAs, and it's just not the 529s for their college. Not every financial planner advises on that.
Yeah.
One of the big takeaways that I got is, and I didn't know this, is how financial planners get paid. Right? Do you know? I did this. I've been in financial planning. Jesus, it's got to be 15, 20 years. Sure. I've had somebody that I can go to and talk to consistently. I never asked them, how they got paid. And how you get paid is much different than another financial planner. And
You can set it up differently, right?
Yeah. You have the freedom and flexibility to set it up. And I think to your point too, like we're evolving to more of an experienced economy where financial planning used to be one of those things where it was like, I have your financial plan. Like, Craig, here's a deliverable. Here's like your 3-ring binder. Here's your financial plan. As soon as it's delivered to you, unfortunately, because the stock market's changed a dozen times, like it's kind of out of date. But like from a financial planning standpoint, here's a deliverable. Here's a thing. Financial planning now is more of an ongoing experience is how my team looks at it. And with that experience comes an ongoing advice fee. So like our number one, call it service, what would you think it is? What do you think our number one service would be?
Your number one service?
Yep. For our clients.
I would just say it's your knowledge and communication, just keeping us in the know of what's going on in the market. You did a presentation a couple months back at the office, probably 9 months now, about high yield savings accounts, right? Like if you have 50,000 in an account making no money in a savings account, stick in a high yield savings. And that's, I think what I like about you and your team is your honesty. You're not just selling a life insurance policy. You're not telling me to put it in retirement. You're like, you know what, right now, park that extra cash into this vehicle now until, we see what the market's going to do or we find something else to invest in.
Is it the yearly planning fee?
Yeah, it's that right there. It's the ongoing financial planning advice. We're in the advice stage where our clients hire us at the end of the day to give us advice.
So I met you after I've already had somebody set up and we spoke about that, and he very similar to you in that, which I had spoken to people in the past, and you could tell like they get paid on what they're selling you for a product, for life insurance, whole life, short term, whatever it is. They're just pushing those products, and there's no like long-term planning or help that comes. And he does it the same way you guys do it. It's a yearly fee that I pay him, but he's there all year long. I need anything, it's there's so much more of a service that I had no idea at all, which you guys are very similar. So like, I'm going to speak more on what I know from his side of it, but I need to get a will. I talked to him. I need to get a will. He sets me up with an attorney. He gets him over everything. He had asked me, or somebody had asked me like, hey, how long did that take? I was like, it took like 2 30-minute Zoom calls. And that was it, because the financial planner had everything, got it all over to him. I was a mess. Not a mess financially. I was a mess on where everything was. Like if I died, my wife would be screwed because I have money here, there. I have this plan that I opened at one point. I opened up a different plan here. I have whatever investment accounts. She didn't know where anything was. So I'm like, how the hell do I figure this out? So pretty much gave him everything. And some of the stuff he manages, some of the stuff he doesn't, but he has all that information. And now that all went over. So now if something happens, Emily just pulls up the phone and calls him, and he takes care of it all.
Exactly.
It's like, if you don't have that, the other person was just like, you just sold a year life insurance policy or whatever, whole life or whatever it is. And then every once in a while, you call you to see if you wanted to increase it. That was the amount of financial planning and that's how I think a lot of people are.
And I think that's people's perception of the industry. Like, people ask me like, what is your greatest
lose trust in that?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, like I did.
Yeah.
Like absolutely. I didn't like the feeling of it, because I was like, you're just trying to sell me something and just keep increasing it. Like, you're not actually helping me with anything.
Yeah, and people think like, what is your greatest competitor? They'll ask me that all the time. It's not any company. It's not another advisor. Like, there's millions of people. I'm of the abundance mindset. There's millions of people out there that need our help, that are just on the default path towards like kind of financial failure. And it's not because they they plan to fail. They just fail to plan at the end of the day. Our greatest competitor is not a company. It's not an advisor. It's people's perception of what it is we do that we weren't able to make ourselves. You brought it up like it used to be back in the day. Back in the day is like 5, 6, 7 years ago. Even nowadays, a majority of advisors are like that, where it's like financial planning is solved by a product. And that's it. It's like I listen, I might take some notes, and then I'm backfilling the strategy with a product. Advice fee is ongoing financial advising. I look at it like a gym membership, for instance. I'll use that. You can go to a certain gym, pay $10 a month. The gym has plenty of products to help you accomplish your goal, which is, right, to lose weight. In reality, your goal shouldn't be to lose weight. It should just be to go to the gym and develop the discipline of going to the gym. But like, that's another story. But that gym will give you $10 a month. Here's the products. You can go out and exercise, lose some weight. What ends up happening if you're like most people, kind of exercise a little bit. I start feeling that pain of exercising. I go, I don't like this pain. I'm paying $10 a month. I don't have the discipline to keep going. I eventually stop going, and I still just pay $10 a month. It's a genius marketing plan for that one gym. Where we come in is we're the, call it fitness instructor. We're the
boutique.
we are the personal trainer. Pay me $400, $500, $600 a month. I'm going to develop a plan for you. We're going to go and teach you how to use the tools. You're going to have some pain on, getting into the rhythm. We're going to help you be disciplined. We're going to help you coach your goals. And you're probably going to get to your end goal faster in a more efficient manner than if you were just to go do it by yourself. Mm-hmm. But one's $10 a month. The other one's $500 a month. Some people are saying I'm good with the $10 a month, knowing that I might not ever get to my goal, but like that's the default path. Some people will say, well, I'll pay $500 a month if that means that I might be able to get to my goal of weight loss faster. That's the advice model that we're in. Mm-hmm. And that's the evolution of our business, where like people want that ongoing accountability. They want that ongoing advice. There are so many different products and strategies, implementation ideas out there that exist. What most people do is they go on Reddit, they go on Instagram, they go on Google, and they're just Googling things blindly. And they're not realizing that, like, to the masses, it doesn't work. Financial planning is a one-size-fits-one, not a one-size-fits-all. And I'll tell clients that, like, my process is very specific to a certain person. And it is okay if we're not a good fit. That is completely fine. There are other financial planners out there that do amazing work, right? My process is one-size-fits-one, not a one-size-fits-all. If it doesn't work for you, I will not find any problem or I won't lose any sleep if you tell me, Sam, you're just not the right time, not the right place, you're just not the right person. Abundance mentality. Millions of people out there. I mean, it's in your business too. Millions of people out there need mortgages. Interest rates are coming down. You're going to start seeing a lot of refi options come out. You're going to start seeing just a lot more people that have been holding on so closely to cash saying, hey, I want to live the dream of owning a house. You have an abundance mentality, it'll eventually fall into your lap.
I think like for both of our businesses, at the end of the day, if the consumer doesn't trust or want to work with you and you don't want to work with the consumer, why force it? There's other people, you know what I mean? Too many people are afraid to say no to somebody. Like they called, I got to do this. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do it. If you're not comfortable, you don't like the feel, you don't like whatever it is, not everybody's pleasant to deal with. You want to deal with, I don't want to deal with that during a transaction. Like you are nasty, you're aggressive, you're questioning everything. You have just this attitude like, okay, go call somebody else. Like, you don't have to do a loan for every single person, and you don't have to be the financial planner for every single person, especially yours, because you're going more long-term with these people. Like most of our clients are long-term, but you're talking to them maybe once or twice a year, you're checking in and you're seeing if they need to refinance or buy another house, and you stay with those people, which is the goal in our business, to build up your own personal pipeline of business. So you're not always chasing new business or chasing leads or whatever it is. And that's how you can become uber successful, when you combine those two together in our business over time. But, in your business, you're definitely with those people for forever.
Yeah. You're with those people, helping them save for the biggest thing they might save for in life, which is retirement. Crazy enough, like you can take a loan out to do anything, practically anything in this world. But if you show up to a bank at age 60 and say, like a $4 million loan, I want to retire, the bank's going to say, like, that's not how this works. You got to save for that. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the biggest things you ever save for. Two, hey, we're saving for the down payment of a house. We're saving for our kids' college. Hey, I want to make sure if, gosh forbid, something ever happens to me, I'm able to pay off my debt and replace my income for 10 years, right? If something happens to me where I'm still here, I'm just unable to work, I have disability insurance coming in. So you're with these people, we're with our clients for the next 40, 50, 60 years. I'll tell my clients, like, because I'm rather young for the business, is like, I look at that as a positive. Because if you're retiring in the next 10 years, and I'm retiring in the next 10 years, let's say, like, if we're both retiring.
Or if you're not retiring,
but I'm saying, like,
30 and
right,
he is.
That's what I'm saying is, like, if we get to retirement and we're both on retirement beach and you look over and I'm like, hey, cheers. It's like, who's watching the financial plan? Mm-hmm. I have another 30 years until I retire. Like, I get to see your retirement and that transition of wealth from one generation to the next, and hopefully the most tax advantageous way. So I really use my age to my benefit, because I'm going to be working for the next 30 years. I'm also working hard right now, and I'm pretty up to date on technology, and just have the bandwidth to learn even more stuff compared to potentially an advisor who's looking at retirement in the next 1 to 2 years or so.
How long have you been doing it?
I
think about that all the time.
I've been in the business 10 years.
With stuff like this, because okay, you've been doing this for 30 or 40 years, but like you're almost done. It's like a doctor almost.
Yeah,
like,
all in.
Do you want your doctor that, okay, yeah, he might be great because he's been doing this forever, but at the same time, like, you're going to retire in 5 years, I got to go find a whole new doctor and start this whole thing over again. Mm-hmm. There's a big, that's a big piece, when I look for something, whether it's, a dentist, a doctor, a financial planner, whoever it is, are you going to be here so I don't have to change all this
Do this
in,
again in
you know,
5
10
years,
years or
10
5
years.
years? And especially on your side of it where, you know, you're going to be there to manage. That's a huge selling point in my opinion.
That's it. I'm calling his friend up and telling him I have to switch everything out. I can't do this
too old.
anymore.
He's out.
Can't wait till he sees this episode. He'll be like, God
It started
damn it,
off-
Sam.
But it's interesting being in the business 10 years, right? You've been in the mortgage industry for a while too, and seeing the evolution of change happen over time. And it's just constant evolution after evolution.
change with it.
Where back in the day, it was a product based, and then we started to see it more into experience based. You saw that with Starbucks coming out and just the experience of like, hey, I'll pay a premium for a nicer cup of coffee.
Your gym analogy is
Gym
spot on.
analogy hits it now too, where it's more of an
There's a
advice
huge
based model.
push. Just things I follow and watch in the more so out west, and then everything kind of comes back this way. But with higher end, nicer, more expensive gyms becoming popular, having full memberships versus these $10 Planet Fitness gyms as they start to lose because of that. People actually get held accountable. It's a nicer facility. You get more out of it.
Better
You're
experience.
spending more money. You're going to put more effort into it.
Yep.
And you're going to get more out of it. And you're going to have a nicer product when you're there as well. Like the equipment, it's not purple and gross. It's really, really nice and high end. You know,
Exactly.
there's a huge, I think as a whole, most people are okay spending a little bit more money or spending more money to have a nicer product.
It's exactly that, and it's the experience, right? Like when I bought these pants, for instance, off BYLT, their packaging was just a nice experience. The way the whole process of purchasing the pants, having them shipped to me, was just a premium service compared to if I went to, I'm just going to use like a substandard store. Like, right, it's like I got the packaging, opened it up, it was like this exclusive like membership thing. The packaging was nice, the labeling was nice, the overall like just customer experience was a premium, and that's why the pants cost more money than if I went to a box store, for instance.
And the quality's better, the fit's better,
right,
it's gonna
everything.
last longer. Like there's you start off buying things, you know, cheap, and then you're like, okay, great, I bought this cheap pair of pants or this cheap fridge, and in 2 years you got to replace it versus, well, I could have spent $500 more and had a fridge that lasted me 15 years.
It's that way in financial planning. You can purchase a premium service, and you will have a premium service. I know I offer a premium service, but I spend the time with my clients. I'm meeting with them on a consistent basis. There's 4 meetings a year. Every single meeting has a thematic theme or a theme to it. They're thematically driven. So it's not just like, hey, to your example, like let's increase this. It's like, hey, we talked about these goals last year. Where are we? Hey, end of year tax planning. We're in Q4 right now. Like end of year tax planning, like let's include your accountant in the call. I want to meet them if I haven't already met them. And we want to project out how much money are you making this year? Because you don't want to wake up come December or January saying, wow, I owe the IRS a substantial amount of money.
Sad times.
If we can start right, if we can start kind of
Times.
right, if we can start though planning for that, that would be helpul. Q1 might be, hey, a protection review, PNC, life insurance, et cetera review. Q2 could be income and savings review. You might have just gotten a bonus or a big commission. Like, how are we best deploying that money? And you can see throughout the year, it's just checkups. They're financial health checkups along the way. Every meeting though has a theme to it. I think that's where the industry is really going to, where it used to be transactionally based. You buy a product, I check in with you once a year, et cetera, to now more experience based. Like, what is that experience that you're delivering to your clients?
I'm getting ready to rehab a house, and I'm sitting here, I'm just like thinking and listening to you. I'm like, do I want to deal with, the Sam Philbrook, or do I want to deal with the guy who doesn't have, any insurance, and he's going to do everything on the weekends and at night out of his own truck? And I had a crazy experience in my house in New Hampshire. It's taken me like a year to redo some decks because I didn't go with the
Premium.
best experience, the
Yeah.
premium service. And I looked at the number and I was like, absolutely not. This is outrageous. I'm going to go with the middle of the pack. I've already paid for the premium and I don't have my decks done a year later. Right? Like I'm at the number. If I would have done it with this other contracting company that had network, people referred them over to me. I'm just kicking myself. I will not be doing this on this next house that that we're purchasing.
If you think hiring a professional is expensive, hire an amateur.
I did. The
That's
first
what
one.
happens.
Way worse.
It's way worse because
Terrible.
you're going to pay for it.
He's going through
I've
it now.
gone through it
You're
with
going to
so
pay
many
for it in
projects.
time. You're going to pay for it in frustration. So emotionally, you're already taxed, as well as
Sometimes
just
you
financially.
don't even know they're that much of an amateur until you get
no.
into the process.
And then you have to hire the professional to come
fix
in
it.
after the amateur to fix it.
Costs more money.
It costs more money,
They don't want to clean up
more
somebody else's
frustration,
mess.
more time. The greatest asset that we have as business owners is time. but it's actually not time. It's attention. Crazy. Like, because time, you have 24 hours a day, right? The richest man in the world, richest woman in the world will be the person that creates the 25th hour. It's the attention, though. How much attention can you give during a certain day? So you can't give 24 hours of attention, right? I operate better in the morning than I do at 6 or 7 o'clock at night. So like my attention is really 4 or 5 hours in the morning. That is the golden hour of which, like, if I have big things, strategies down to tactical decisions that I need to make, like that has to happen in the morning. That's my attention morning. Anything in the afternoon is like not worse by any means. It's just like there's less attention because like I only have so much in the tank to give.
Yeah.
I have time, 24 hours in a day, but I only have 4 or 5 hours of attention to give things. And that happens in the morning.
Interesting.
Hence the reason why we're here on a morning.
Not at 7 o'clock at night.
Not at 7 o'clock at night.
You could make really
be rough.
really bad decisions if we were doing it 7 o'clock at night.
Might have a couple cocktails.
You're just sharper during your
tattoos.
a couple more tattoos, but you're just sharper during that attention time compared to just the regular time that it might be at 5, 4, 3 p.m.
What does your perfect client look like at this stage in your game? For anybody who's watching this, and we're gonna have the full array. We deal with every walk of life. Unemployed to somebody who's got multi-million-dollar, self-employed, somebody who's just starting out. Right? I mean, 22-year-old kid. I was reading an article. You probably know the exact facts, but you start investing at 21, 22 years old. You're in a much better situation than somebody who waits until they're 35, 40 years old to start investing for retirement or investment accounts. Like, what is the client that you're looking for if they're watching? Or do you suggest people getting a second opinion, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I sat in that car with you for 3 days. You knew my financial planner, and I probably came across as like I was interviewing you and making sure like the financial planner. Because I feel like no matter who your financial planner is, there's always somebody that has a different idea. And that's what I always look for different approaches, right? So then I can go back and sit with him and say, what do you think about this? And then he might say, this is why I would not do this, right?
Exactly.
That's the key is I want to just open it up. But what is that perfect client, that you see out there that really needs your services? Like when you sit down with them, they're like, damn.
It's the person that's typically all set in everyone else's mind. It's the person that wants to offload this. You're running a business all day. You're making decisions all day. You're a family person. You're making decisions all day. You're an executive. You're a key employee. You're a business owner. You're a top performer. And you're just making decisions all day. And the last thing you want to do is go home and Google, what is your financial plan? The last thing you want to do is go home and harvest a question from your spouse and go, I have no idea what that is or what our advisor's doing because we haven't talked to them in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? It's not an asset minimum. It's not an income minimum. It's that person that's a top performer. They have a good job. They're building a business. They're managing a team. They have a family, and they just want to offload that responsibility. Not to the fullest extent. I'll say I want them to be intellectually curious. To your point, like you were interviewing me. I don't think it was an interview. I think it was more of a conversation. But you were like intellectually curious around like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Like, do you think it's good? And I think I remember the conversation where I was like, well, I don't know your whole picture.
Yeah.
I know the guy and I think he's really good.
Yeah.
So like you told me and I was like, no, that all makes sense. Like you actually might want to increase these things, but like talk to him about it because I don't know your whole picture.
Or decrease
or whatever it is.
Tax planning. I mean, you brought it up with Q4. You said, hey, listen, I sit down with my clients. Tax planning, I do that now, obviously, with my financial planner, my accountant. But that meeting should be happening in Q3, Q4 at the latest. You can't tax plan in Q1 of the following year. It's bananas. I hear it all the time. I'm like, that's good idea on that. And that helps you financially because, listen, you're going to know this better than me. Pay your kids out of one of your LLCs or set it up where you're paying your kids. What is the max on that? $11,000 a year?
Yep.
Right? You write it off. $11,000 goes into your kids' IRA or account, whatever it is. I don't even know where I'm putting it. But.
Depends on how it's structured. It depends on so many things. Could be 11, could be 12. Yeah. Max gifting could be 18, depending on how
those
you
are
do it.
Things that most people just aren't listening to, right? Like we sat in the car. Now that's implemented. It's another way to do that. So, no, that's awesome, man. Thanks for coming on.
No problem. Great to have you. That went by quick. Talked about tattoos, financial planning.
Want to pull a couple questions?
We definitely got to
get
go on the
at the
Jenga
end.
pieces.
Sure, Jenga pieces. Here we go. I'm going to go for the hardest one. Oh.
Sam, give us a fun fact while you're pulling these out. What's a fun fact?
My name
about
is not
Sam?
Sam, it's Jonathan.
I knew that was coming on.
By
Sam.
birth,
I
so.
learned that the hard way.
Psycho.
Have you ever lied to your boss? That's a good one. Oh man, boss. Which boss are we talking about?
Let's just do both, your wife and your employer.
So yes, I have, and I've been very honest about the lies that I have given or said to my wife, because she always finds out. She always knows. Like,
Oh, yeah,
I'm a terrible liar. As soon as you say something, she's just like, really? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, really? And I'm like, no.
Shit.
No.
How many high noons did you have last
Yeah.
night?
Yeah.
2.
I was out with Vern until 1 o'clock.
What time are you home? 11.
Hey, I've gone out with him like
I don't
3 times.
Maybe I added a 1.
The ring camera says otherwise.
Yeah.
To all our viewers, I have to be the number one fall guy in the industry, in this area. Like, some of my friends are like, if my wife calls you, I was out with you last night. I'm like, where were you? Oh, I was golfing at the golf course until like 10:30. I'm like, just tell them that. I'm like, but why do I have to do this?
That's hilarious. And then we have, do you believe in aliens? Yes, naturally. Like, yes, 100%. If you think about it, the galaxy, we can go on a rant about this.
This is the luckiest one he's ever pulled.
Yeah,
Like,
this is amazing. The
He's so
galaxy
happy.
is endless. So therefore it's like, well, allegedly it's endless. So therefore there has to be other things out there. It can't just be us in one solar system just hanging out. Like, there has to be other things out there. And I think that's already been proven. If you go on the History Channel, which isn't even history anymore, it's like aliens, fact or foe. And you're like, all right, we have aliens, which would be pretty cool, actually.
He's taking this thing
Just-
down.
I'm
Let's
going.
go.
Who do you think is the worst dressed person in the room? Vern.
It's my calf tattoo.
It's the
Like,
calf
Stanley
tattoo.
Bill on.
It honestly was a debit on your whole outfit. I wish I could see it though.
Yeah, I mean, maybe one day we'll do that.
That's a hard question when we're all wearing the exact same thing today.
Yeah.
You guys have the same brand shirts on,
Yep.
same color pants.
I bought it for him.
Yeah, right?
I sent him that pair of pants.
Let's do
Great
another
wrap
one. See how far you can go before you knock it over.
I don't think
No one's ever knocked it over.
I'm gonna send you a pair of
one and
pants
two
now.
questions.
What was the company? BYLT?
BYLT. Who in this room would you switch lives with for a week? I don't know. I have a pretty sweet life. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have a pretty cool life. I really like my life.
I mean, just so the viewers know, we have one of our team members in here who coordinates a lot of this stuff. Stephanie, we got, as everybody knows, Javier Rosa, who's not married, not settled down. So I don't know. I'm probably gonna be Javi for the day. Plus, he works out every day. I probably would skip that for a time period.
I'd do that. Oh, really? So he has to switch back to the body afterward.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Because he works out every day, wouldn't work out. I would just completely sink that body.
just going around.
Give it back to him at the end. Like,
How
here
old
you
are
go.
Javi? Yeah, he's
33?
33. Maybe I want to be Craig, just so everybody calls me Daddy.
That'd be a good one, too. That'd be a
not a
good
bad
one,
life.
too. It's not
Then
a bad
again,
life.
Sam works up in Boston, commutes.
Yeah, I mean, your office is pretty sick up there.
It's a nice little area. Run a
The
cute
commute
little
is not
lifestyle
my-
practice.
He's taking out everything on that side.
I know.
Can you name 4 Kardashians? What do we got? Kim, Khloe.
You lost me.
I got all
Oh
4.
man, you got all 4? You
That's
don't
a
listen
secret
to Call Her
crush right
Daddy, but you know the Kardashians. Interesting. So
I
Kim,
mean, the Kardashians have been around for
Khloe,
like 20 years.
that one's not Selena,
Not even close.
not even close. No, what's
I can't help you guys. I
what
know
do you got?
they're
The
on
other
like
two. Go for the other two.
You got Kim. You got Courtney.
Courtney.
You got Kylie. You got, well, Kylie, I guess, isn't technically a Kardashian because she's a Jenner, right?
I wouldn't know this.
Guys, keep up.
yeah. I'm done.
So you got Kim, Courtney,
Chloe.
Chloe, Kylie, and
Bruce.
Oh my God, Bruce.
Yes, Vern. Bruce.
There's one more, Kylie and Kendall.
Kendall's the younger one.
Kendra, is it Kendra? And Rob. Well, that's a guy.
Yeah.
He said K's on the Kardashians.
Do you think the Earth is flat?
Absolutely not.
No, it's round.
Absolutely.
We know
That's a
that.
crazy one.
That's a
That's
crazy
Kyrie
one.
Irving
That's
right there.
yeah. That's an interesting one.
You might take this thing down.
Oh, this is the one. This is the one that's gonna make it go away.
Oh,
The last one. Do you think Sarah is an alien.
Oh,
I think we end the conversation there.
100%. Yes.
He does not work with her. He just says 100%.
100%. Yes. No, I appreciate you guys. You both having me on today. This was awesome. Good use of time.
Yeah.
Good 45 minutes.
Solid
Hopefully we're
45
able to-
minutes. What are we doing for lunch after this?
You dealer's choice. I'm all
So many
yours.
amazing restaurants in the South Coast.
I got a half hour or so, but no, I appreciate you guys inviting
Thanks
me
for
on this.
coming
It's
on, my
awesome. Awesome to see the success of this and continues to grow.
appreciate the
Thanks,
support,
man.
my man.
All right.
Till next time.
See you guys.